Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Devren Cook, and in today's quick video I just want to go over some things that you may have been hearing in the news and in the media about buying a home. You may have heard that prices are going to drop later and that you should wait to buy, or that you're going to not get a good deal right now, or that it's an unsanitary process, or that there's no one buying, there's no one selling, there's not going to be anything on the market, or just any of those things that you're hearing. I want to go over all of those and go through the numbers as well. So I'm going to go through all of that, show you guys the numbers and exactly what's happening in the DFW market right now as of May 19th, 2020. If you do have any questions, you want to know some more specifics or anything like that, reach out to me personally, and I'm happy to go over that with you on the phone, via Zoom or Google Hangouts call, and that way we can share screens and we can go through that together. So let me know if you have any further questions, or just leave them in the comments down below as well. The first thing I want to address is whether or not it's a sanitary process to buy a house. Short answer is yes, it's plenty sanitary. If you're super high risk of getting sick, then we have some workarounds for you. But if you're fine, you're not at risk or anything, we are still showing homes. You can get into homes, you can see them. We can wear gloves and face masks and the whole 9 yards if it makes you feel comfortable. But we're still out showing homes. You can still view homes, and that's totally up to you. If you don't want to see the home, but you want to buy a home, I've made a whole video on how you can do that, and you can do the entire process virtually without really coming into contact with anybody. So go ahead and watch that video if you have questions about that. But the answer is yes, it's a plenty sanitary process. You can do it just fine. You can buy a house without ever shaking anybody's hand or anything like that. So now we're going to dive right into my computer, and I'm going to show you all of the numbers of what's going on in the DFW market. These aren't just made up numbers. I'm going to show you exactly where they came from. They're straight from the MLS, which is the multiple listing service. And that is where all the realtors put all their new listings. That's where we see homes that come on the market. It's where homes that have sold are logged, so that way they can be cataloged and used for data and all those things in the future. So this is straight from the MLS, or NETRIS, the North Texas Real Estate Information Service. You do have to pay to have access. You have to be a real estate agent, an appraiser, or just kind of working in that field. You might be able to get access to it if you just want to pay for it. I'm not too sure, but that's where this is. So you don't have access to this just as a normal human. So that's why I want to show you all these numbers. So here we are in the MLS. You can see NETRIS, North Texas Real Estate Information Services. We're just going to look at all of the MLS, the entire North Texas area that I have access to, all price ranges, single family homes, bedrooms, all construction types. And you can see that the last time the sales price actually dropped was back in January 2019. From December to January, we did see a small drop. But from January of 2020 to now, April 2020, which is the last time we have this data, is prices have gone up. We've seen from an average of $259 to $278. That's about a 7% increase just from January in sales price. So if you're thinking that home prices are plummeting, if you look across all price points in Dallas-Fort Worth area, we're not seeing that. Now, if you go look at the original list price, we do see that from February till now in April, that the the list prices have dropped a little bit, and not as significantly, but we have seen that a bit. And a large part of that is because sellers are looking to get out from under their homes. They want to move on and just have it be quick and easy. There are less buyers in the market, and so they're wanting to just get it sold as quick as possible. We do see the price per square feet is up, which we would expect with sales price. So if we look at median days on market, we see that in February 2020, we were selling homes on average 38 days. Now we're down to 21. That is significant. It means that homes are selling, buyers are buying, and people are moving. And so that's a great thing to see. Percent of original list price. This is showing us how much a home is selling for based off of its list price. We can see that's gone up since January, 96.7%. up to 98.2%. So that means basically that if you put your home on the market for $300,000, you're going to get 98.2%, so you're going to get about $94,600 for your home. Now we'll look at month supply of inventory. This is crucial because this tells us whether or not we are in a buyer's or a seller's market. If we are at 6 months, we are at about a neutral market. Above 6 months, we're in a buyer's market. Below 6 months, we're in a seller's market. And you can see since June of 2019, we are in the highest point, June through August, 3.5 months. We are now down to about 2.6 months of inventory. What that means is that if 2.6 months goes by and nobody else decides to put a home on the market to sell, there will be 0 homes to sell. They will all be purchased within 2.6 months. And so the lower that number means the quicker homes are selling. Okay, so that's something to watch. That means homes are selling quick. If you have a home to sell, it's a great time. Now you might be thinking, well, if it's seller's market, I shouldn't buy a home. Well, not necessarily. I will talk about that in a little bit and show you exactly why it is a great time to buy as well, despite the fact that we are in a seller's market, which means that homes are going to sell for about what list price is. If we go back to that percent of list price, 98.2%, that's very high. Depending on the neighborhood, and we can go through this if you have questions about specific areas, zip codes, neighborhoods, I can pull up a report and show you that some neighborhoods and some zip codes have even lower than 2.6 months supply. They have somewhere around 1.5 months supply. Even selling for 100, 101, I've seen up to 103% of list price that homes are selling for. What that means is that, especially in multiple offer situations, you're not necessarily going to get that 1.8% off of the sales price. You might be bidding over sales price just to get the home. So those are all things to consider. Let me know if you have more questions. If we go back and we look at homes for sale, we have seen a slight drop, barely. Maybe like 0.5% drop since January. Now, if we look at new listings, we can see that since January, since December, homes on the market have been going up. We've been seeing an increase, especially from December to January. A lot of new homes came on the market. And then it's kind of been gradual. We saw everything happen with the news and all of that stuff. And a lot of people bunkered down, they stayed in their houses, and they didn't put it for sale. So that's to be expected. And actually in April was the first month we saw less homes come on the market, which is just driving that seller's market. Because if we're having less homes available, but we still have the same amount of buyers, then homes are going to go even faster and we're not going to have hardly any inventory. So that's something to think about. Now, pending sales are down and closed sales are actually slightly down as well since March, and for pending sales since about February, mainly March, we saw that biggest decrease as well. Now, a lot of that is largely going to be, if you think about, say someone wanted to buy a house in December, they got under contract, they wanted to buy a house in January, they got it under contract, they're probably going to be closing around February timeframe, which is why that number was still high. However, once people were sheltering in place and not going out and not buying so many homes, they stopped buying homes so much in February and March, so that's why we see that April number down a little bit. The Chad Smith team, the team I'm on with Keller Williams, we've actually been doing better than we have been the previous Februarys and Marches and Aprils. We've been having massive months, and that's because we're actually out working still. Real estate is an essential business, so we're doing our jobs, we're helping people buy and sell homes. And so while the market shows this, our numbers don't actually reflect this, but it is interesting to see what the market does. Now, that was a lot of information. If you do have any questions about something specific about your price points, about townhomes, resales versus new construction homes, specific areas, or anything like that, let me know. Reach out to me, let me know in the comments, whatever you prefer, and I will get that information to you. Now, one last thing I wanted to talk about, because this is all really great information if you're wanting to buy a home or sell a home, but especially if you want to sell a home. I want to show you why especially it's great to buy a home right now. Because all of this information is good, is very helpful, but this is really where you're going to get your deal. If you come over here to FreddieMac.com, we can see the mortgage rates since 1971. We're not going to look at all of those, but I want to show you where we are at right now. If you see right here, as of April, the average rate was 3.31%. That is huge. That is a massive deal. That's going to save you a ton of money. If you look, just about a year ago, in February, March of 2019, we were at 4.27%. That's about a 1% difference. Now, if I can just show you, I'll open up a new tab here, what a 1% difference does to your monthly payment and how much you pay over that 30-year span. If you just Google mortgage calculator, and you can try this yourself, and say we go for a $300,000 house, okay? And say we go with the current rates of right now, say 3.3%. Your monthly payment is going to be about $1,314, and your total cost of the mortgage, which means the amount you're paying for that house over the 30-year period, is $473,000, roughly. Okay, that doesn't take into account your taxes, your insurance, HOA, all of that stuff. So don't use this as a great calculator, but it's really good to see interest rates compared. Now, say we change that, we just change that forward or 3, that's a 1% difference. All of a sudden, we went from $1,314 to $1,485. That's what, $160-ish, and $534,000 that you're paying over the entire course of your loan, which is roughly $60-ish thousand. So that's just something to think about. I want you guys to see these numbers because that's really where you're going to save your money. We don't know what is going to happen with interest rates, but we do see, if you come down to 2008, and you guys can see this on your own, just go to FreddieMac.com. 2006, 2008, 2007, here we are 6.3%, 6.4%, just the annual averages, 5.8%. Before that, in the early 2000s, 7%, 8%. And so if you look at that, chuck an 8.0% in there, and all of a sudden, boom, $2,200 for the same house that cost you $1,300, $1,400 on a 3-4% interest rate. That's a massive difference, and that's going to really affect how much home you can buy and your purchasing power. That's going to be the difference between you buying, a $200,000 home, a $300,000 home, or whatever the difference is. But that's going to be huge, and you can get into a massively different home just based off of your interest rate. And it very much increases the affordability of the home to have that lowest rate. So if you need a good lender, let me know. I can get you connected with a great lender as well. But again, if you have any questions, leave them down below. I hope this was helpful for you. I'm going to send this out to all of my clients so that you guys can watch this. And if you do have questions, just reach out. Let me know. Subscribe to my channel as well, and I'll post some more videos here. Thanks.